Today we're going to spec up a custom Zilla cab guitar cabinet together. We're going to see behind the scenes footage from the actual build itself. We're going to unbox it, we're going to listen to some of the sounds and give my first impressions on the cabinet. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video, but let's get straight to it. So here we are at the zillacabs.com website, and let's have some fun speccing up a custom cab together. I want to really focus on minimizing weight and making it as portable as possible while maintaining the biggest sound that I can. So that's really the objectives I've got for speccing up this particular cab today. I don't have a valve amp head. I use a Quad Cortex rig, and I'll be putting a Seymour Duncan Power Stage 700 on top of the cabinet, so I don't have to worry too much about the width of this cab. And in the future, if I did get a valve amp again, it probably would be something more like a lunchbox head. So I want to prioritize space and compactness. So we're going to go for the vertical angled fat boy. So if we click on that, and here we are. We are in the cab customization section of the website. I think the very first thing I want to do, as they suggest with the little pop-up here, is select our speakers. So now, as I said before, I want to make this as light as possible, this cab. So I know exactly what speakers I want. I want to go to a neo creamback on both positions, which I think they sound great. Particularly for rock and metal, they really cut through the mix. There's a really nice clarity to them. And they're kind of like a V30 alternative if you like the flavor of a V30. I think the Neo Creamback you'll probably like as well. Purists may say the V30 sound better, but I've done a lot of A/B test comparisons, listening to them online, and Zilla cabs have a really good comparison of this speaker cone as well to the V30 with Nolly. So yes, if we go to the Neo Creambacks in selection, if you notice here, we have the overall weight reduced down to 22 kilograms. So if I go back to, let's say, two vintage 30s, that'd be 28 kilograms. So the difference is really significant when you bring in the Neo Creambacks. The G12H75 Creambacks, again, a really great speaker, but still it's 28 kilograms. So bringing those Neo Creambacks really going to make this super portable, super compact, and really easily carryable by one person, particularly because it's a vertical configuration. And that means it's using different muscles in your back rather than just relying on your arms in a wider stance. So really good. Cool. So let's move on to the toe legs. We're going to try and scope up something quite classic. There's lots of options here. We can see there's loads of different, there's carbon fiber, black Taurus, wine Taurus, vanilla. I mean, I'll just flick through some of these options that you can see. There's some quite cool things you can do and customize on this. But I think what we're going to do is probably look for a black configuration that I like. There's lots of different textures you can do. The look that I'm going to go for is just the black Taurus. So it's quite dark, quite simple, very smooth. And I think it's going to complement the grill cloth that we'll go for as well. So let's move on to the grill cloth. And there's a few options here. We can just go very classic black, salt and pepper, which I do like. Blues breaker, basket weave. I think I quite like basket weave as well, actually. Likewise with ivory and large checks. I think these wickers and large check and black diamond and these other ones are quite specific to maybe a particular head that you want to put on this cab. But I think what I'll do is I'm drawn to the salt and pepper straight away. I really like that look. I think that's going to work really well. I think I want to change the pipe though, maybe to the black. Look at the badge. I actually really like the default badge. I think that's probably a nice option. But if you do want to change, you can get the gold, silver as well. The ghost is kind of cool if you want to maybe black out. If you had a black grill cloth, that'd be pretty cool as well. In fact, let's just have a quick look and see what that would look like if we did black. Yeah, that's kind of a cool stealthy. If you've got like a 5150 stealth amp, that'd be quite cool to do in that configuration. But I think I'll change that to black and white one. I like the classic look of the Zilla default badge actually, so I'm going to keep it like that. Corners, if you wanted to change it to leather or metal, you could do that here. I think from what I want, probably the metal will be more robust. Likewise with the side handles, you can make this white inverted color if you wanted to, but I think the black works well on this as well. The top handle, we're not going to do this. There's not an option to add it, although probably Paul Zilla may be able to accommodate that. if you did request that. Awesome. So I think that is all good. I'm very happy with that spec. As I said, I'm keeping things very classic and simple in this speaker cab. If we scroll down, we can look at the configuration. One thing we haven't done though is looking at the back type. So we've got an option of a closed back or a 3-piece, which allows us, if we want to make this an open back for certain situations. Now, I quite like the idea of having that versatility, paying a little bit extra for that. So I'm going to do the 3-piece back. Probably at home, I might open it up to have that room sound, maybe for certain smaller gigs, keep it open back. But if I was playing outside or need that really focused sound coming from the cab, miking up, etc., I would probably have that closed back put on there. What we can do is we can just go and order that now. So let's do it.
Hey, I'm Paul from Zilla and welcome to Adam's channel. Now, a couple of weeks back, Adam gave us a call and placed an order for a really cool cab. He asked us if I could take a few shots of the build process, so that's what I'm doing here. As you can probably see, the cab's already been Tolexed, so I'm going to take a few shots of the build process, so fitting the piping, the grill cloth, hardware, and then the speakers. As far as the spec goes for the cab, Adam has chose a vertical angled fat boy. The Tolex is a black Taurus, so kind of like the older Mesa Boogie stuff. He's gone for a salt and pepper grill, which is one of my favorites, black pipe and black hardware. And the speaker choice is a pair of Celestion Neo Creambacks. So if you don't know the Neo Creambacks, they're essentially marketed as a lightweight version of the M or the H Creambacks, but they're a great speaker in their own right. So I wouldn't see them as a compromise. And as far as the cab itself goes, a vertical angled fat boy is going to give you a great spread of sound and still give a nice impact that you'd kind of expect from a bigger cab, trying to emulate a 4x12. Obviously there's half as many speakers, so it's not going to quite give the same impact, but it kind of gets you about 80% of the way there. So a nice full fat sound with a good spread of sound as well.
Okay, so UPS have delivered the Zilla cab this morning. So let's get it unboxed and set it up, and then we can see what it sounds like, and I'll give you my first impressions. Okay, so here it is. Let me pull it up to the camera. Okay, so it's been a few hours now and I've stopped the loop on my Quad Cortex, which I'm sure my neighbors will be happy about. And the sun has set and I think it's about time to hear some of the sounds from the cab. And now it's worn in a little bit and that initial harshness has reduced a bit. So let's hear some of the sounds on the Quad Cortex, some clean edge of breakup, some high gain and some solo tones, and we can check it out together and get our first impressions. Okay, so my first impressions are, it sounds really great. If this is what it sounds like just after a few hours of breaking, I'm really excited to hear what it's going to sound like in, a few months' time once I've played through it even more. I'd love to hear what you think down below in the comments. And also, if you're going to spec up your own Zilla cab, what would you choose? What would be the Tolex? What would be the speaker choice? I'd be really curious to see what everyone's thoughts are. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video.